Some horror movies make you jump, others stay in your mind long after they end. In 2026, Netflix is packed with chilling stories that go beyond fear and dive into pure psychological tension. Here are 10 of the scariest horror movies you can watch right now. Starting of our list at number 10, Bone Lake. What begins as a quiet escape to a remote lakeside quickly transforms into something deeply unsettling. Bone Lake thrives on isolation, using silence and stillness as weapons. The atmosphere is thick, almost suffocating, and every ripple in the water feels like a warning. As the story unfolds, the line between natural and unnatural begins to blur. The horror here isn't loud. It's patient. It creeps in slowly, building tension through unease rather than chaos. By the time the truth surfaces, it doesn't shock you. It haunts you. At number 9, Until Dawn. Inspired by the feeling of being trapped in a deadly game, Until Dawn plays with your expectations at every turn. A group of friends, a secluded location, and a night that refuses to end. Classic setup, but executed with a relentless sense of tension. What makes this film stand out is its unpredictability. Just when you think you understand the rules, everything shifts. The fear here comes from not knowing who will survive, or what's truly hunting them. It's intense, fast-paced, and filled with moments that will keep your heart racing. At number 8, The Elixir. The Elixir dives into a darker, more psychological kind of horror. At its core, it's about obsession, the desire to heal, to transcend, to control life itself. But every gift comes with a cost. This film slowly pulls you into a world where reality feels distorted. Visions, transformations, and unsettling discoveries create a constant sense of discomfort. It's not just about what you see, it's about what it means. And by the end, you're left questioning how far someone can go before losing themselves completely. At number 7, Eli. Eli takes a familiar concept, a sick child in a sterile medical facility, and twists it into something far more disturbing. The controlled environment, meant to protect, becomes a prison filled with hidden truths. The tension builds through subtle details, strange noises, unexplained events, and a growing sense that something isn't right. As secrets unravel, the film shifts into something darker, revealing that the real horror was never what it seemed. It's unsettling, emotional, and deeply eerie. At number 6, Apostle. Set on a remote island controlled by a mysterious cult, Apostle is brutal, atmospheric, and deeply disturbing. From the moment you arrive, there's a sense that something ancient and dangerous is at work. The film blends religious fanaticism with raw, visceral horror. Rituals, sacrifices, and hidden forces create a world that feels both grounded and terrifyingly unreal. It doesn't hold back, delivering scenes that are intense, shocking, and impossible to forget. At number 5, The Cursed. Dark folklore meets historical horror in The Cursed. Set in a bleak, isolated landscape, the film carries a heavy atmosphere from start to finish. There's a constant sense of dread, as if something is lurking just beyond sight. The horror here feels ancient, rooted in myths and curses that refuse to die. It's slow-burning but incredibly powerful, building toward moments that are both terrifying and visually striking. This is the kind of film that stays with you, like a shadow you can't escape. At number 8, Frankenstein. A modern reimagining of a classic nightmare, Frankenstein explores the consequences of playing with life itself. But instead of focusing only on the monster, it dives into the creator's mind, his obsession, his guilt, and his descent into darkness. The film is both emotional and terrifying. It questions what it means to be human while showing the horror of creation without control. The visuals are haunting, the tone is heavy, and the story hits deeper than expected. At number 3, Malevolent. Malevolent begins with deception, a group of fake paranormal investigators exploiting fear for profit. But everything changes when they encounter something real. The shift from skepticism to terror is what makes this film so effective. The atmosphere grows darker with each scene, and the supernatural presence feels genuinely threatening. It's a slow descent into fear, where every moment becomes more intense than the last. At numbre dos. Ivana. Ivana brings a chilling supernatural presence rooted in dark spiritual forces. The horror is relentless, filled with disturbing imagery and moments that hit without warning. But beyond the scares, there's a deeper layer, one that explores possession, fear, and the unknown. The entity at the center of the story feels powerful, almost unstoppable. It's the kind of horror that doesn't just scare you, it overwhelms you. At numbre un. A classic horror story. At the top of the list, a classic horror story takes everything you think you know about horror and turns it against you. What starts as a familiar setup quickly becomes something far more twisted and unpredictable. This film plays with expectations in a brilliant way, blending traditional horror elements with a deeper, more unsettling narrative. It's disturbing, clever, and filled with moments that leave you questioning what you're watching. By the end, you realize this isn't just a horror movie. It's a reflection on horror itself, and that's what makes it truly unforgettable. Now the question is, which one are you watching tonight? Drop your pick in the comments, and don't forget, some of these films are better experienced with the lights off.